Some people said to me it's a high-risk strategy to try and do some site-specific work. It's difficult in Venice because it's filled to the rafters with some of the greatest pieces of Western painting. But I knew if I didn't at least attempt it, I'd regret it. This particular space, the Ludoteca, the question is what you do. Do you ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist and think it's just a gallery space, which is kind of crazy? Do you respond to it specifically, or do you, in a sense, do both of those things? Having a suite of spaces offers up the possibility of literally a walkway through and a walkway back. So it offers up the possibility of some kind of experiences and play with those experiences. Drift was kind of a memory of, I don't know, first time in a boat or something, you know, this kind of nonchalant, sort of just skimming the water playfully with the water. But at the same time, this notion of seeing in the water this evasive, elusive city, which you kind of know so well, and yet you'll never really know it. The second piece, Frari, this is one of the great things about working in a place like this. We were introduced to someone who I was able to ask, would it be at all possible that I could get into the Frari Campanile? Now, the Frari Campanile was built in like the 14th century, and it's not open to the public, never has been. And what I was really trying to do in that piece is create an image of the kind of sense of the place, rather than what it literally is, or rather go to the top of the belfry and take an image of the view. But it wasn't about the pictorial, it was much more about the interior sense, and then what happens when you get on top of a place. And then that notion of the kind of flooding of light, the blasting, and then this kind of quick descent. The final piece, which I made in November, of the Cadet series, which I've been working on for a few years, I was conscious of the fact of where it could be, but when I finally got it in November, I then began to imagine it right there in the Chiesa, right there, working as a kind of counterpoint. So the Chiesa is the first place you come into. As I say, that seemed to be the right place to put this counterpoint, which is the frenetic Cardiff run-in and parade piece. And then coming through the sacristy, having this silent piece, which I actually did a couple of years ago, but it seemed to be the right place to put it, is the silent single cadet, keeping vigilance during the remembrance service. And then, of course, coming through here, which is the silent piece, two-dimensional work, this space becomes the middle ground. In a sense, I wanted it to be a kind of meeting place between the spillage of audio from the cadet pieces and then the spillage of audio from the Frari, and just a little bit of that remnant, whilst at the same time creating a space which is ostensibly quiet and inviting a kind of intimacy with the work. And then you work your way back through to the drift, which is again silent, and then eventually into the interior ascent and descent of the Frari.